on this computer. So updates for today, I was not following updates very closely, but there are still some updates. So one thing I want to say is that everybody should remember July 18th, because this is the day where Llama 2 was released and made open source for commercial use as well as non-commercial research, of course. And this started very active development of large language models based on Llama. They took all the first places on the leaderboard. Also on the same date, they announced collaboration with Microsoft. So Microsoft hosts Llama, make it available. The license for Llama 2 is generous and permissive. However, it prohibits using Llama to improve any other language model, excluding Llama 2 itself. Users must also request special commercial license if they have more than 700 million monthly active users. So I guess it's Microsoft. Open community started working and improving and so on. Okay, this is, again, I didn't have time to update it very accurately. I saw the slight increase in the leader, so there's still new things. I want to say again about the Falcon 100B. So this is Arabic team released it, but it's not on the first places. I'm not sure, it's like 60 something. Its quality is not as good. Size is very big, 180 billion parameters compared with 70 billion parameters of Llama based. Okay, this is a comparison of Llama 1 and Llama 2 and GPT. So, well, historically first was GPT-3, it's June 2020, and GPT 3.5, 2022. So they come in different sizes. The largest is 175 billion parameters, and they come in different context length. So context is what you send, the length of the prompt. And on Model 3, it was 2000, on 3.5 is 4000, and it was trained only on 500 billion of tokens. So this is a relatively small amount, because GPT-4, again, nobody knows, but there are rumors that it's trained on 13 trillion tokens. So this is like 26 times more data it was trained on, and like various types of data. Now, Llama 1 was 1.4 trillion tokens, and Llama 2 was 2 trillion tokens. So it's, again, much more than the free GPT. And the top entries in open source, they actually perform better than free ChatGPT. So what else to know? Okay, they come in different sizes. There are dates. One thing about GPT-4 is that it requires, well, again, it's rumored, it was never officially like announced, but that it's 8 times 220 billion parameters. So this is what, trillions of parameters, right? So to run one of these models, you need a computer with a ballpark range of price about $500,000. So 8 of them, it's like $4 million of hardware you need to run ChatGPT. In comparison to Llama 2, if you quantize it down to 4-bit, you can run it on MacBook, MacBook Pro Max with 64 gig of RAM, which you can buy for $2,500 right now. So there is a huge difference, but ChatGPT 4 is much better. Oh, by the way, also it's using reinforcement learning in addition to regular methods of training transformers, and it uses the data of questions, answers on every day to retrain to become better with time. So this is, I think I was showing this before, but these are the 4 main tests by which people compare models on the leading board. And look, GPT-4 is much better than all others. And this, for example, Falcon, right? And Falcon size is like GPT-3. So it's GPT 3.5 is 175 billion. This is 180 billion. So it's about the same size, but the quality is much worse. Well, here for Hellas work, it's a little bit better. and this is comparable, this is comparable. Uh, okay, so I guess it's not that far. Although on this arc, this is reasoning challenge. This is probably the most important. GPT-4 is known that it can take the test like a college test and perform in like top 10% of people who take the test. So GPT-4 performs like a smart human, but it's huge. You need powerful hardware to run it, and it's only available if you pay money. But it's still the best. Okay. Different types of thinking. Like, well, different types of thinking is applicable in different situation, right? I just actually asked, I think ChatGPT, tell me, oh Bart, like what are different types of thinking? It gave me this list: abstract, analytical, application, associative, concrete, creative, critical, divergent, inductive, logical, mathematical, metacognitive, problem solving, rational, systems, strategic, tactical. Uh, okay, ChatGPT. Does ChatGPT think? Well, actually, I don't think it thinks. ChatGPT quote thinking is based on statistical patterns in the data it was trained on. So GPT responses are based on what it has seen before in the training data rather on its own understanding of the world. For example, if GPT is asked to write a story about the dog, it's likely to generate a story that is similar to other stories it has seen about the dogs in the training data. GPT does not have the same ability as humans to think abstractly, critically, or creatively. Well, there is people argue about that. Maybe it creates some model of the world, but mostly like it's just a statistical prediction. So it's like a chain of like it predicts the next word, it predicts the next phrase based on what statistically it's seen before in training data. Now, I want to talk about this slide because it took me a couple hours to put it together, and this was from a friend who allowed me to like put it in a slide. So he was talking about the fact that most humans are actually behave like ChatGPT. So you see this picture, this GPT talking to a GPT. So they don't really think, they act like ChatGPT. They generate next words based on previous words on and what they've trained on, which is television, everyday's conversations, and so on. People talk to themselves in the same way. One phrase causes another, chain of phrases and images. It's like having ChatGPT in the brain, and these chains of thoughts go different ways depending on how the person feels in the moment. Like if you feel tired, then it goes one way. If you just had nice meal and you feel good, they go another way. So the person thinks that it's logical thinking, but it's just flow of ChatGPT like word generation. It seems logical from inside because you sit inside you and you trust your own thoughts, but they're not thoughts, they're just ChatGPT generation. So very few people can actually think and think from first principles, think from simple structures, think systematically, not in a ChatGPT way, think strategically, create truly new stuff, whether it's ideas, music, math, whatever. Systematic thinking must have an object of thinking. Output of ChatGPT typically doesn't have independent structure. It is descriptions of parallels, associations, complexities. A good habit to keep asking yourself, am I a ChatGPT? Do I think like ChatGPT? Right now, what I am doing, am I a ChatGPT? Or if you're talking to another person, am I talking to a ChatGPT? Is it even worth like to keep talking with this person in the first place? You need to try to stop being a ChatGPT, well, challenging, to stop listening to ChatGPT inside you, to start understanding simple truths about yourself, your true essence, and start thinking from this understanding. Well, for me, it was very valuable conversation and very valuable ideas, and I hope so for you as well. Hosting your own embedding model. So this article talks about simple fact that OpenAI embedding model is not the best. So OpenAI embedding model in the this leaderboard on again Hugging Face. It's a massive text embedding benchmark MTEB leaderboard, and this is the link to it. And you see the top entries. There are about 100 entries total. Embedding models are used to convert text to vectors. And OpenAI model is number 13. So it costs money, it's not open source, and it's looks like it's not the best because on multiple tests they have, there are other models which are much smaller, faster, and free. You can run it on your laptop. Uh, well, with GPU, it works fast. And yeah, so you don't really need to go to OpenAI for embedding model at all. Just for you to understand, large language model is different. Large language model, as I told you, GPT-4 is really good. So it depends on what you want. Another thing is RAG. RAG is what is called forgot. Response augmentive forgot. But the idea is that you keep knowledge separately from large language model, and when you get the question, you first go to some knowledge base, which may be a vector database, extract this knowledge, and then feed it to LLM only to formulate like a nice human-like response, right? But LLM is not supposed to actually keep the knowledge inside. The knowledge should be outside. Uh, Hold on, what is RAG? Because I use it all the time. Okay, RAG. Okay, retrieval augmented generation. That's what it is. Uh, okay, let me put it here. Okay. Next, yet another company making money by providing a platform where people can train their own models. They proud that it's easy. They proud that it is SOC 2 compliance. That means privacy, and you can fine tune. You can do inference. This is the key, right? Pay by token. So they make money. So it's not just ChatGPT or Claude or other services, like many companies who are providing platform. And the last, I just want to share this. So this is a German, well, AI computer, which you can buy for 30 something thousand dollars, order today, receive in maybe 3 weeks. And it has 7 NVIDIA RTX 4090 GPUs, which provide 168 gigabyte of video RAM. So it's not enough to run GPT models, but it's okay to run full Llama model without quantizing it down. But it requires 2 times 2 kilowatts. So you need two 230 volt 16 amperes circuits, two breakers. Yeah, quite powerful. Of course, liquid cooling, powerful AMD Threadripper CPU, and other parameters. Also, you need a lot of system memory because you have so much video memory. I would think this is on low side. You actually need probably more memory than you have video memory. Okay, this is it for today's update. Let me stop the recording.